Um, the members who were on the floor were evacuated to another location, which they don't want us to publicize. And the ones here are safe. I don't know what's happening in the rest of the Capitol.
At one point, I know there was an armed standoff by the door there that you could see. What is the situation now?
At some point, and I heard glass breaking, they had the Capitol Police rush us, evacuate the amount of people left up in the balcony. Everybody else on the floor had been taken off. Down a set of corridors and stairs, and now they took us to another building for safety. And at this point, we're surrounded by additional Capitol Police, but, you can hear the sirens go off, and, people are still walking around with their gas masks.
Is this an effort, Congressman, to get you and others to safety because there is something going on perhaps on the House floor? Or is it really just an effort to get everyone out of that building as quickly as they can, even though you are surrounded by protesters we're looking at from the outside?
It was our impression that they were about to breach the floor. I don't know if they ever did, because this is seeing 6 or 7 security of Capitol Police trying to hold back the mob coming onto the House floor. It seemed inevitable. And, at different times they had us lay down, sit down, crouch, put the gas mask on, and then they said, you just got to get out of here. And they escorted us off through a series of tunnels and so forth to get out of there.
We're apparently hearing that the Defense Department denied a request by D.C. officials to deploy the National Guard to the U.S. Capitol. So it looks as though Capitol Police right there may be your only option in fighting this mob.
Yeah, I don't know if that happened or not. I will tell you, sometime before this happened, I looked out at the mob and that's the only way I'll describe it when they get violent, on the east side of the Capitol. And just you could tell by what they were saying and doing, this was an angry mob. Again, I'll say incited by the president. And he invited the group he was talking to come here. It's very clear what he was talking about, and they followed his instructions. What? So, look, there's no way the Capitol Police could handle this on their own. But in the final analysis, given what the president has set up, given how many people were set for this protest, we should have had the National Guard surrounding the building.
And Congressman,
starting this morning.
Congressman, I'm just curious, if in fact what we're seeing and being reported that the request for National Guard is denied, if that is true, you just said the Capitol Police can't handle this on their own. What other avenues of assistance can Congress expect to help out, if indeed the report is true that National Guard won't be assisting?
Look, I would like to think that given what's taken place, that the largest, most important democracy in the world has been assaulted today, not just legally by this challenge constitutionally, but physically. You would think that the National Guard order would be altered just because of that. We still have business to do. Regardless of what's going on, my job is to get back out there and to vote and continue the democratic process so that the peaceful transfer of power can take place.
We will get there, but in the moment right now, we are showing our viewers, Congressman, pictures of suited gentlemen with their guns drawn, what appears to be on the Capitol floor inside the building. What they're pointing at behind a door is unclear to us. Could this be Secret Service? It doesn't appear to be Capitol Police, but they are dressed in plain clothes and ties.
The people on the House floor are a combination of, I think they're all Capitol Police. Some of them are in plain clothes.
Okay.
They were on the main door with this, again, makeshift barricade with guns drawn. And, as we were, at some point, someone made a decision. Different groups got out at different times. We were, I'm sure, the last to get out, the 20 or so of us members. And I think it was a decision. It's risky to move. It's very dangerous to stay still, so we moved.
Well, you sound, if I may, a little more calm than in our previous conversation when they were putting furniture up against the door, which is what we were just looking at a picture of that.
Yeah.
Do you feel safer now, or do you feel like things are a little more under control?
I can't tell you what's happening there. Here they are, but you know what? 20 or 30,000 people down the street. They see this. Does it incite them to do more? In the end, you know, we're here to do a job, and I'm not going to let them alter that. And I will tell you, there were members who were very scared, or members crying, but they were pretty steadfast. I didn't see much panic at all.
We are looking
And
at
just to understand what we're talking about. You're hearing tear gun blast and getting gas mask on, and you know how many people are out there. They were very calm under tough circumstances.
Well, we applaud you for that, certainly, and we thank you so much for you being able to share with us exactly what's going on inside right now. We are looking at a picture outside. So many people. I'm not good at crowd estimates, but I would say there are thousands of people outside. Do you feel or know anything about the doors, and will they be able to prevent more people from storming into that building?
Or has that stopped? Congressman, what are you seeing in front of you now? If you could share with us what you're in the middle of.
I'm in the middle of a big hearing room in another part of the Capitol with most of the members who were on the floor at that time. Members were either in their offices, because you couldn't have everybody on the floor at the same time, or they're on the floor in the galleries just to space. So
are they taking a head count right now? Is there a roll call?
No,
Are you accounting
no.
for everyone?
When this happened, just assume, try to imagine total chaos, uncertainty. Lock the doors. There's 2 doors to the floor. There's 2 doors, sets of doors to get to the gallery. And the Capitol Police running around. We adjourned. We continued. The fact is, I don't think it's sunk in very quickly just how dangerous this was.
Congressman, I just want to ask you, if, again, going back to this report that the Defense Department has denied the request for National Guard, does that mean the Secretary of Defense, who would have been responsible for the decision that the National Guard should not be assisting? Where does that emanate from?
In this jurisdiction, I just don't know, because it's the District of Columbia. So it's hard for me to speculate.
Would it be the Secretary of Defense? I mean, would it be the national government, like the Secretary of Defense, order from the President? I mean, is it that direction of order?
You know, I'd hate to think it came from there. And at this point in time, we're going to have to look back at this. At this point in time, they need a lot more help. I think we're temporarily feeling okay. I don't know what the intention of the mob is right now, but as I was leaving, they were taking over the floor of the People's House.
We don't know their intention either, Congressman, but you do sound calmer and perhaps calmed by the company of people you are now with, kind of reunited with from the House floor some time ago. Yes?
Yeah, look, we'll be fine. A lot of other people in a worse situation. What's most distressing isn't the threat to us, it's the threat to our country and our democracy, that it could be disrupted and threatened.
And people have not dispersed. I mean, that threat is not gone at this moment. I am sorry to say to you, President Donald Trump reaching out to his supporters via Twitter just said, I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was
a little late for that. He put our lives at risk. He put the Capitol Police lives at risk, innocent civilians, other people who would, I assume, want to be there peacefully. And this isn't over yet. So he needs to say, get the heck out of there. Let the People's House operate as the People's House. He is not the leader of the party of law and order. This time, he is the leader assaulting democratic process in the very core of how we operate as a democracy. I'm going to have to pop off here. If anything changes, I'll let you know.
Congressman, thank you so much for your time.
Congressman,
and
stay
please
safe. Please, Mike, stay safe.
Thank you.